China's economy is so bad that they're banning rich people now. Tons of rich people are getting banned, censored, and erased by the Chinese government. They've enacted a campaign to go after people who create a wealth-flaunting persona. But this doesn't just stop at bans online though. There are legal and political implications too. And the real reasons behind this scary move are probably not what you think. And to me, this spells some serious disaster coming very soon for China's economy. Shout out to Extra Wallets for sponsoring this video. With Father's Day right around the corner, what better gift to give your dad than the relief of him not having to carry an embarrassingly bulky old wallet? The wallet that I've used for years is Extra, the slim, stylish, and impressive wallet with a quick access button that fans out your cards with just one press. I get compliments every single time I take it out. Whether you like the space-grade aluminum smart wallets or the premium leather wallets, Extra is the best choice out there for what you need in a wallet. While you're at it, pick up the new Finder Card, a revolution in item tracking. Finder Card is an ultra-slim rechargeable tracking device that will make your belongings impossible to lose. It's credit card size and trackable globally with the Apple Find My app. Just use your phone to ring your stuff and see where you last had it on a map. It's the perfect addition to an Extra wallet. Get the best wallet ever this Father's Day. Go to partner.extra.com/LaoY86 and use the code LaoY86 for a massive discount. Thanks. Banning rich people. This couldn't end in disaster. Do you remember the last time that China banned rich people? Anyway, imagine if the US government overnight started banning Taylor Swift, Tom Brady, Tom Cruise, Morgan Freeman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and all the big names. I mean, these are the movers and shakers of the US, and the people that just got banned in China are the movers and shakers of China. The people that drive millions and millions of followers' interests in China were simply wiped out overnight. These influencers have no influence anymore, and it wasn't their choice. Keep in mind, whenever you see something on the Chinese internet, it's popular for a reason. If it goes against what the government wants to portray, it won't be popular or it will be outright banned. For example, China banned cleavage, and overnight, you could see cleavage blurred out on everything. And I'm not talking about adult content, because that's just banned outright in China, but I'm talking about normal videos of people are now being blurred. And don't forget that most of the relevant internet is completely blocked in China anyway. From YouTube, yes, I am illegal in China, especially the content that I make, to TikTok. Yes, the Chinese app that has caused such chaos and division in the US is even banned in their own country. The country that made it. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Anyway, one of the craziest things is China didn't just ban rich people now. Just a little while earlier, China banned poor people before. In fact, being poor and showing it on the internet is still illegal in China. I kid you not. Try to wrap your head around that. If you're poor and you show yourself being poor on the internet in China, you have legal ramifications. You can not only be banned from the internet, you can be arrested. I'm not even kidding. When the leadership declared that poverty was over, you know, they cannot be wrong, right? They didn't actually do anything to eradicate the poverty. They just said it was over. So now it's illegal to show that you're poor. And I'm not joking. People were literally arrested for showing their wedding online. They didn't try to show that they were poor. They were simply just making a video that you could see that they were poor in the video. And they were arrested for making the country lose face, or to insinuate that maybe the government hasn't eradicated poverty. The government doesn't want people to see that there's people that are poor in China. In fact, like 600 million people are still living this way in China after their leader said that there wasn't any more poor people. It's this insane disconnect, this insane obsession with controlling the narrative that makes China so scary. And I personally noticed this in China too. You could be surrounded by abject poverty, as I often was, just 5 minutes outside of some of these cities, and in the majority of the countryside. And when I would talk to people, they would acknowledge that they were in fact poor, but they would just think that they were simply unlucky because of the people that they would see in the city centers with cars and the rich people that they would see on state-mandated propaganda television and internet videos that would show off people's wealth. They would say, yeah, those people are so well off, so China must be well off. It just must be my bad luck as a poor person in the countryside that I'm not rich like those people. This is all by design. The banning of showing poor people and then promoting rich people has created a new problem. When most people are unhappy with their own lives, they see all this online content and they're so disconnected from reality. Seeing all these people that seem so happy and wealthy, it creates a pretty warped psychology, said Lai Lalai, who is a former beauty influencer that had over 1 million followers on Douyin. This interesting phenomenon is in direct opposition to what China was just literally doing recently. I've been tracking China's trends, and on China's special, clean, happy, utopian version of TikTok, their own version called Douyin, until recently, the government was actually promoting wealthy people flaunting their wealth. It completely goes against this new law that they've just enacted. In fact, there was this viral trend that would show a disheveled old van and a couple living a hard life, and then bam, they'd have a Mercedes and they were rich and happy. This trend was allowed and promoted by the government because it showed that despite all this negative news you keep seeing about China's economy abroad, everything is A-okay, and you too can become rich like these people. They wanted to create that disconnect amongst poor people, these poor viewers that are scrolling and say, well, maybe it's just me that's poor. Everyone else seems to be doing well. But here's the deal. As much as the government wants you to think that everything is A-okay, everything is not okay. The economy in China is in shambles. Businesses are closing, and middle and lower classes have been smashed with unemployment, and people are simply not spending money anymore. It's because they lack the most basic income security, and the leadership keeps making crazy knee-jerk reactions that make people not want to invest in their own country. It's actually not just the middle class and poor people, though. It goes way beyond that. In fact, 120,000 Chinese millionaires just fled in 2023 for foreign citizenships. There's really no more trust left in China's economy. You have tens of thousands of people making illegal border crossings into the US, and it's not because the political and economic situation of China is healthy. Oh no, it's quite the opposite. People are running away from a bad situation. China's economy is performing dreadfully. The post-pandemic bounce was far smaller and briefer than the Chinese government had anticipated. And despite recording a respectable, if diminished, official growth rate of 5.2% in 2023, the reality may have been much slower, with some analysts estimating growth was no more than 1% to 2%. And that was Scott Kennedy, a senior advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. What you have to understand is that China cannot do 1% to 2%. You don't do 1% growth and then magically later, if your economy's better, grow much faster later on. That means that China is pretty much forever locked in as a relatively poor, underdeveloped economy that still relies on exporting cheap stuff that it makes. You cannot make a global superpower that isn't powerful, and you definitely shouldn't have a global superpower that ranks nearly last in the world for every issue that requires transparency, like freedom, the economy, and human rights. And that's the very issue with the Chinese government. You have this one-party state that simply cannot and will not tolerate anything that deems to be a risk to its total control over the people and what they think and what they do. It's wildly insecure, especially when things organically happen. While that's led to a massively sad problem for the people in China, it's a massive problem for people in the rest of the world, like the USA as well. When you have a government that simply cannot allow anything to happen organically, that has to ban poor people. And then when that backfires, they have to ban rich people. They black out all media when something bad happens, like a storm or a disease outbreaks or a train derails or the economy is suffering or there's a housing bubble that's so big and it's about to burst and almost everyone's about to become a victim. They just don't let anyone know about it. They cover up all the victims and the aftermath. You have to realize at that point that China is not some mystical great power that plans everything in advance. and it's wise beyond its years. All these stereotypes about how the CCP has everything planned out and they know what they're doing. It's a country that is so disorganized and so insecure that it knee-jerk reacts to every little problem with such little care for the future consequences of its actions that it's simply dangerous on an international scale to deal with China. China promises long-term cooperation, economic deals, Belt and Road infrastructure initiatives, peace and prosperity, and all of these things sound great on paper, especially when China can control the image and narrative of everything it puts out there. But really what China wants is for you, as a person in another country, to invest in and prop up its paranoid police state Ponzi scheme and to fund its ambitions of world domination. And if you haven't seen that yet, you haven't been paying close enough attention. Thank you very much, guys. We're super close to 1 million subscribers, so I'd really appreciate it if you just went down there and hit subscribe. We got to push that over and get that gold play button. That would be super cool. Don't forget to go check out my other show. It's called The China Show. It's my weekly news show that I do with Serpent Today. We cover everything that is viral in China, everything that is happening in China, the good, the bad, the ugly, the funny, everything in between. It's the only place you need to be for your China news, so I'd really appreciate it if you headed over there and checked it out. I'm sure you'll love it. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you on the next one.